It's your girl Triple B. Yes, I've been on pause for a little bit. Listen, nobody told me that this blogging was so hard, but I'm going to continue that journey in a minute. So I'm on my way to work, but when I stop, we are going to find out how it all happened, how it all began. So stay tuned. I'll be back. I'm back. Now let's see what happened. It was a December. Could you believe it? It was December when you're preparing for Christmas and, turkey, and the presents and just the atmosphere, the feel of Christmas. And it was one day I don't know, so for some reason there was something heavy on my mind. And I brush it off because sometimes, you get these feelings and you try to figure out, well, why am I feeling like this? I went to take a shower one evening and I reminded myself, you need to do your self-checks. I had missed a few, maybe days, weeks that I didn't check. So who knows, right? So I went in the shower humming some Christmas songs, So I'm like, okay, now it's time to do our checks. So I started with the right breast. And, I did all my checks. Everything was cool. Everything was good there, feeling normal. Then I went to the left breast. Did all my, feeling, pressing, pulling, whatever. And it wasn't until I was almost finished, I felt this round, hard, it felt hard to me, something. And I was like, hold on, babe. My breasts are really smooth. They aren't lumpy. I never have lumps in my breasts. Now, I did just finish my menstrual cycle. So, sometimes you get changes after your cycle and it would disappear. So I figured, okay, maybe that's just a little, something since my cycle just ended. That night, of course, I couldn't sleep. I told nobody about what was going on, because I wanted to, make sure I was not jumping into a situation that didn't need to be hopped into. Okay, say day one went by, day two, a week, and it was still there. And I didn't tell my mother or anyone as yet. I still wanted to make sure I was not panicking for no reason. Okay, this is going into the second week. I'm like, no, I need to call my doctor because I need an appointment. I need him to use a machine, x-ray, whatever it is you need to do, and check this out. So I made the appointment, which took like another week. So that was another waiting, which was torture. Whew, I waited and waited. And then finally the day came and I was like, Doc, this is an emergency. I need you to check this out. So he checked it and he was like, oh, that's nothing. You just finished your cycle, right? That's going to go away. You're too young for that. So I said, okay. So he said, let's go home and watch it for another month or two. A month or two? Okay, so I said, okay, Doc, let's see how this plays out. I went home. I told my mother, we all just started panicking after that. And every day I would feel the little ball in my breast until I said, Doc, I cannot wait 2 months. I need to know. I started researching, like what happens when you discover a lump. What do you do? I saw something that said you should get a needle aspiration or a biopsy. So I went to my doc again. I called him. I'm like, Doc, I need to talk to you. I am being tormented. And he was like, okay, let's do the needle aspiration. And I had already done my research, so I knew that if he did the needle aspiration and liquid came out of that lump, you in the clear. If liquid did not come out, we have a problem. So he was explaining this to me, and I already knew this because I like to check up on things when I hear about it. And now I didn't tell y'all. Did I tell y'all needles? Me and needles are not friends. You have to give me a massage, a pep talk, a bedtime story, prayer, meditation, hypnotize me, all that stuff. So the needle that I saw him about to use, which was probably a little fine, long needle, but to me it looked like a syringe, a big syringe. And he stuck me in the breast and went straight through to the lump. And then he said, okay, sit out front and I will get back to you. Waited, and then he came and he called me again and he said, okay, I did not get any liquid from this lump, so the next step would be for you to get a biopsy. I was like, a by what? I mean, I knew what it was, but I just had to, I dramatic. So he said, we have to do a biopsy. I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta go have surgery? Okay, so I agreed. We set another date. Of course, another dramatic moment for me as I'm being wheeled into the operating room. I remember, I think one of the pastors was there, Pastor Smith, and my mother. Yes, because he prayed for me before I went into the room. At this time, Sister Ballin, right? I am crying. I'm having palpitations. I'm fighting. And for some reason, whenever they have to do the anesthesia for me, I fight it, and they have to give me an extra dose. So all that happened. Went in. Next thing I knew, I was out. He agreed with me, and that was the agreement we had before I went into the surgery. So he took out the whole lump. Then there's a little healing process, probably about a week for me to recover from that, a week or two. And waiting was the worst part, because all kinds of things are running through my mind. How far did it go? Did it spread? What stage? All of that. Finally, I got the call. This time, they did not say, oh, could you just come in? We need to talk with you. They said, come in with someone. And when I heard that, I knew what that meant. Not good news. And even though I heard that, I was still trying to be optimistic, maybe he just want me to have some support for the information he's going to tell me on how to deal with this breast and, take care of it and all that. We got there, my mother and I, sat in the office. This time I am so nervous. I am so scared. And I done ready to cry. Don't tell me nothing yet, but I done ready to cry. He started talking and beating around the bush and how they do it. And finally I heard the words, Bridget has breast cancer. I heard nothing else after that. I just heard cancer, and the flood of tears that washed me away as I sat there. I was like having an out-of-body experience. I watched my mother and him talking, but I couldn't hear anything. I just saw them two talking. My mother was very calm. It was really good of her. And I was crying and crying and crying. I could not stop, because you just shocked me. You shocked me. How in the world did I get that? On the way home, I was there, washed away in tears, and I thought it was raining. I thought my wipers had stopped working because I couldn't see. I don't know how I got home, but I got home. And of course, I went straight into my bed, and I fell into depression. I stopped talking completely, because I never used to talk much anyway. I stopped talking, I stopped eating, I stopped drinking. I hardly slept. And I stayed that way for about 2 weeks. My mother tried to calm me down. She tried to give me some natural stuff to drink and all that. I didn't want it. For me, I was like, listen, I think this is my death sentence. I'm about to go, so let me just wallow in my fear and self-pity and, get my house in order. And she was like, no, the devil is a liar. Snap out of it. People would talk to me about something that they don't know anything about. I'm like, because you're not feeling this, you don't know how I feel. So I was not snapping out of nothing, because nobody knew how I felt. So my mom, being the strong person that she is and trying to comfort me and assure me that the Lord will never leave me nor forsake me, she kind of got tired and felt like, okay, I can't even help my own child. At that point, Carlisa was my best friend who had relocated to the States. And my mother knew how close we were, so she contacted her and told her, okay, what I was going through. And right away, my friend made plans to come and see me. She hopped on a plane and she came to be my support. She came, and it took a while still for me to snap out of it, but eventually I started to come around. As she talked to me, we cracked jokes, and she's like, whatever you need, I am here for you. Just let me know. I started to snap slowly out of my self-pity, and I sat up in the bed, because listen, I was not eating, I was not sleeping, I didn't even want to bathe, but I had to do that one. You have to bathe. Said, okay, let's fight this. We cannot play dead. You were not given a death sentence. Let's figure out what is going to be our next step. What are you going to do to fight this? Now that it was time for me to shake off my self-pity, my fear, I decided, okay, let's check out all my options. What is it that I need to do? What treatments do I need to do? As a matter of fact, before even treatments, my gut was telling me to get a second opinion. So that was my next step. And in doing this, I took two texts with me, Jeremiah 29:11 and Isaiah 43:2. I also had a song that stayed with me that became my favorite song, I Know My Redeemer Lives, and this stayed with me through my entire journey. But I just want to say one thing, I want to say something to you. Get to know your body. No matter what, get to know your body. I don't care if it's a little cough, a little something that seems strange, get to know your body. So whenever something happens or you feel something is wrong, your gut will tell you, go and check it out. Research this some more. And because I knew my body, I knew every little thing that was wrong, even something would feel right, and my gut just would not let me be. So please, trust your gut. Check it out. But we're going to pause here, because it's time to rest on this journey again, and I will be back to tell you what I did, how it went. See you next time. Take care of those tatas.